Hello, 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 and a huge welcome back to the Enricher Business Circle. I'm your host, Rickdrieka Bennett, and this is the space where we will be moving beyond basic business strategy to explore the mind, energy, and powerful alignment that is required to build a truly fulfilling and impactful enterprise as it relates to your business. My guest today is a beacon of light in the entrepreneurial world. She is an expert in uncovering the hidden energetic patterns that keep business owners stuck in a rut. And she guides them to clearing those blocks to unlock incredible clarity, confidence, and growth. Please welcome our guest, Cheryl Stelt. Cheryl,
Thank you. Thank you so much. It really is an honor to be here.
thank you. The pleasure is all ours, Cheryl. I'd like to start at the beginning. Could you kind of share your journey and what really led you to focus on uncovering these hidden energetic patterns as it relates to business?
Thank you. Yes, my own personal journey started almost 32 years ago, and
Okay.
I got on a spiritual path, but early on I started healing myself of these subconscious blocks. And it was amazing what happened, and people started asking me, hey, can you help me with that? Can you teach me how to do it? So I started working with people for some time. And then it was later when I started my own spiritual interior design business,
Mhm.
stealth design, designing for the soul. I started sort of funneling my spiritual work and helping others through that business, helping my clients. And so it was a very personalized, interior design service that I provided. And I started to look at my own business through the same lens. So, of course, we always start with ourselves, right?
Right.
Why am I really doing this? What was it that really filled me up? And started to initiate some changes in my own business. But it was really after I wrote my first book, I started to work with coaches, business owners, not that I was targeting them, not that it was really a thing I was pursuing, but I was getting these women who were so stuck in their businesses. And I would do readings for them, and then they started to work with me, and things shifted in a matter of weeks with all of them. And so it's really, when we own our own business, the business is us.
Mhm.
So whatever problems we have in our business usually have something to do with ourselves. And I have seen it time and time again where people have reached a certain amount of success in their business. It might be financial, they may have a lot of clients, or things are running so smoothly. And then things stop working. They don't
Mhm.
have the same type of fulfillment, or things fall apart in some way. And it really is a reflection of something going on internally with the owner. And so we deal with it that way. We see what the problems are in the business and then track it back to the root of the problem and shift things relatively quickly.
Awesome. I think that's so powerful. And I know you said that many times it starts with us. So what are like some common energetic patterns that really blocks us in growth when we reach a certain level that and how can we really identify them so that we'll know that hey, this is something we need to work on?
One key area that I've really helped a lot of, especially female business owners in, is setting boundaries with vendors or associates or staff or that sort of thing. When the relationships in our business, whether it's client relationships, whatever it is, when there are people we don't enjoy working with,
Mhm.
something's wrong. That is a telltale sign that something is going on, and all of that can change incredibly. I remember working with a woman who was a grant writer for nonprofits. So she had a large business, and she had a lot of people working for her. And we were working together, but it was on a more on a personal level. So everything applies to everything, whatever's going on with us personally. And what happened with her, she realized not only was she not setting healthy boundaries in her family, in friendships, but with a number of her clients. And in about 6 weeks, boom, she started setting boundaries with certain clients of hers. And she even fired some of them. I am not working with you anymore. And then she just got rid of all this unhealthy energy. And then she was so inspired. She wrote a whole new business plan. She made a bunch of changes in her business. And she just moved to a whole new level of success, but personal fulfillment and joy in her business. She had lost that joy in her business. So that I see as a common thread. Look at your relationships. Are you happy with all of them? Are you connected? Are things going well? If not, there is a problem. Some of the other things are visibility can be a problem, over responsibility. Unworthiness is often hidden. So many of these are hidden. And they show up as procrastination, overwork, overwhelm, confusion, this feeling stuck, a real lack of clarity, and exhaustion. So many business owners, you're not meant to feel exhausted in your business. I don't get exhausted in my business. Your business is there to fill you up.
Wow. I think I really definitely love that. And I think I would have to ask a follow-up question. Once you kind of like go through the process of evaluating things, how do you kind of make sure that you are aligned truly with your goals? Because I think that's if you're not in that process or state of evaluating things, sometimes we may set goals that we really don't align up with.
Well, it's going to happen. It's really trust your emotions.
Okay.
Trust your emotions. Okay, so when we have trauma or wounds, they science has proven that trauma is encoded in the right side of the brain, which is the subconscious, through physical sensations and emotions. So a lot of these things, you can't think your way through them. That's why you keep trying to think your way through them. You do everything that's gotten you to where you are today, and it's not working. None of it is working because you need to start paying attention to your emotions. And it's when you're able to access the subconscious, the deeper emotions that are held in your subconscious, and process those, that you will gain the clarity. It's you will gain the energy and the inspiration to then view things differently, to see what the problem is and where you can get to. And we're often not aligned with our goals because we've made them all through thinking through the left brain. One of my clients, Ginny Trask, she had a 7-figure business, a travel business that she had done very well at. But when she first came to me, she was absolutely exhausted, so exhausted and miserable. And we started working together. And she realized one day, and she'd never done anything spiritual, never got, she was a speaker. That's how she ended up getting a lot of her clients. But she discovered that she was here to help women as a spiritual leader. And she was like, I have no idea how I'm going to do that, but I know I'm going to be leading retreats. So now she's a spiritual speaker coach, and she's amazing, and she's fulfilled, and she's no longer exhausted and miserable. So the alignment for her, she was so far off because she created everything through the left brain, the thinking brain. She knew how to do the numbers. She knew how to create a business. So everything on paper was absolutely fantastic. But
Wow.
she was unfulfilled, miserable, and so very tired.
So I definitely love that story, and I love the way she realigned herself with her goals. And I think it's essential that sometimes we often use one side of our brain more than the other, and we put ourselves in our own rut by not having some type of balance. Um, and sometimes we naturally use a specific side of our brain I know like one is more analytical, where one is more so feeling and emotional. And sometimes people are typically lean towards the analytical side of things, which kind of leads me to my next question. Could you kind of explain the concept of the invisible ceiling that you often talk about and how that kind of impacts business strategy?
Yes, and I see this so often in businesses. You know, our businesses help us grow.
Hmm.
We get all these challenges, so every challenge in our lives is there to help us grow, no matter what the challenge. So our businesses help us grow. We're not the same person 5 years into the business than, compared to what we were when we first started it. We're a whole new person. We've learned a lot, we've grown, and what often happens is we move so much more into our light. And I mean that we move into a higher vibration. Success, feeling that success, the fulfillment of being in business raises our vibration. Kirlian photography has proven that we are made of light as well. So we move into our light and it pushes us up to a certain level, to that glass ceiling. And then what happens is that higher level of light shines on our darkness. It shines on that deeper layer that needs to be healed. And that is so often when people keep pushing, keep doing the same thing, the level of fulfillment drops because we're not getting that anymore. And it really is that invisible ceiling is challenging for you to heal at a deeper level and become empowered and move your business to a whole new level.
I love that. I feel like it sounds like you're saying that as we grow in business, we have to make sure that we evolve as we grow, because many times instead of staying where we were 5 years ago, we have to be where we are in the present, and we don't acknowledge where we currently are in the present. And I think that's a great point. I often tell people that even with a business plan, you may have a vision for your business plan in 2022, but that same vision for that business plan may not be the same 9 months later, or 2 years later, or even 3 years later. The destination may be the same, but the action steps to actually help you build and get to that destination may change.
And it needs to. We
Mhm.
are not stagnant human beings. There's always another opportunity, and it's not about getting there and saying, okay, well, I've arrived, this is great, I'll just continue to do this. It's not
Mhm.
going to happen. And the other thing that happens, even when we do accomplish our goals, it's never going to be exactly how we imagined it. I
Right.
have yet to meet a person that said, oh yeah, I planned on doing this and I would feel this way and it was going to look like this. It doesn't have Goals are there to help guide us, but
Mhm.
what really helps us move in the right direction is just being open and receiving the opportunities, which don't always show like opportunities, right?
Right.
It's because we need to keep doing the personal work so that we continue to take those opportunities, all those, especially the hardest ones, and grow and evolve, and then our business will do the same.
And I definitely love that you mentioned how sometimes things that may you that you don't think are opportunities are actually opportunities, because I think that sometimes we get in such a box, or we think inside the box, when sometimes there are things that are happening outside of the box that we should be connecting to actually help us to evolve and explain and expand, and we miss those opportunities because we're becoming so rigid off of the past. And I really think that one of the things that you said in doing the work, and in actually moving forward so that you can remove those blocks and do the internal work on ourselves, uh, to really enhance clarity, confidence, and your purpose. What what would that look like in a day routine?
Oh, I always recommend to do it first thing at the beginning of your day or at the end of the day. So let's just take I know first thing in the morning can be difficult. There's so many things that have to happen in the morning, but if you allow yourself 20 minutes at the end of the day, it's just review your day mentally and ask yourself, any situations here that need attention, anything I need to process, because we're often so busy, we don't have the opportunity to process things. And so it's using what I call my ACE method. A is for access, C is for clear, E is for empower. So let's say you had some conflict with a staff member, something didn't get done on time, and it affected a lot of things, affected your business, and there was a conversation around it, and you still have some sort of lingering feelings around it, even though the conversation ended well. Let's just use that for an example. So you want to close your eyes and meditate, keep your feet firmly on the floor, sit at your desk to do this, and put your hand on your lower abdomen. Because when we breathe in the lower abdomen with a long, full breath, it helps us access our subconscious. It changes the brain function. So you just breathe down there and you notice how you're feeling about it. Let yourself feel the emotion that you stuffed. You likely stuffed down before. Let yourself feel it, and then feel all the emotions that go with it. So when we feel emotions and we're not breathing fully, we're kind of perpetuating it, and we may feel a little bit better, but it's when we breathe fully, it releases them from the subconscious. So you allow yourself to release that and go deeper, and we don't ask ourselves, why did this happen? What do I have to learn through this? What in me wants to be known? What in me wants to be healed and empowered? And so then you can ask yourself, when did I first feel this in my life? Feeling, seriously. And your subconscious will take you back there. And then you can feel it as that younger version of you. And then it's really all about self-love and loving yourself up, but don't do it too soon and don't disregard it. And it's really loving yourself up, that unconditional love. And then you ask yourself, what do you believe about yourself now? You know, it might have been whatever came up for you, that you were unworthy or that you didn't matter, that sort of thing. And you love yourself up, and then you feel different. And then you breathe into the new emotions that come, the joy, the elation, the zest for life, and breathe into whatever's true for you now. And then you carry that into the evening and you carry it into the next day. So it can become a part of your day, because the greatest challenges are what we deem as the greatest obstacles. And we often, even as business owners, put ourselves in victim mode. Well, I didn't make that happen. That person did this, or that happened, or there was this crisis. It all serves you. It all serves you, and you can make the most of it and grow through it.
I love it. And just for a recap, so for example, if there is some kind of hurdle or obstacle that we're experiencing in our business, and like just like with the new year coming up, and we reflect on like if we've accomplished our goals for the year or what prevented us from getting to those goals, just taking that time to reflect on the obstacles that actually transpired for this year and sitting with those obstacles to see not the why behind the obstacle, but more so of what's inside of me that kind of created that obstacle would be a better take on looking at that. Even though we do know that there are certain things that we can't control, but looking at the perspective of what we can control that happened or prevented some stuff from transpiring.
That's absolutely correct. And then remembering to do the ACE method, remembering A is for access, those subconscious blocks, which are the emotions. C is for clear, and that's breathing through whatever it is. And then the E is for empowerment. Love your little self up and discover a deeper truth in yourself. And that is the empowerment. And I'm going to be if you hang on, if you look in the show notes, I'm leaving 3 meditations to help you learn how to do that.
Awesome.
Freebie.
So I feel like that's incredible and it's truly inspiring. Um and what is one piece of advice for an entrepreneur listening who's stuck despite trying to a lot of different strategies, or they may not be able to consistently maintain strategies to get to where they want to go? What is a piece of advice that you would actually share to them?
It's number one, acknowledge that it's serving you.
Okay.
Don't see it as you're a victim and this is just too hard. To see it as an opportunity and remember how much you've already overcome through your business. So to remember all your strengths and that you've moved through a lot. And this is one more thing. And practice being your own energy worker. That's what the ACE method is all about. Be open to learn and grow through it. Ask yourself, what is this teaching me? How is this serving me? What do I need to know? What do I need to understand? What is it I need to feel?
Awesome. And Cheryl, this is a perfect place for us to kind of wrap up. And thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and light with us on today. This has truly been enlightening for me. And I pray that it is truly enlightening for our audience. Could you please share how they could possibly connect with you?
The easiest way is you can just put it callwithcheryl.com. Just
Okay.
enter that into your computer, callwithcheryl.com. Click on the link for the free, powerful meditations. And you can find me on my website, starofdivinelight.com. There's a lot of resources on there, how to have a business chakra reading. And then you can find me on social media, Instagram and LinkedIn.
Awesome. And thank you to all of our listeners for joining us for this episode of the Enricher Business Circle. If this resonates with you, please share it with another entrepreneur who you think this will benefit. And make sure you like and subscribe to our channel. Remember, it's not just about the business you build, but the energy you build it with. You want it to be standing for a long time and build a legacy. So until next time, keep enriching your life and yourself.